It's been a volatile week in the markets, so this is a great week to make sure and read the commentary that we always have for you who are clients who are part of our mailing list. If you're watching this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or any of our other platforms, it may be a great idea to go to our website, 10capital.com, and sign up so you can get that as well. That being said, this week, as Tim alluded to, we're going to start our series talking through why each of us here at 10 Capital chose this industry and why we call 10 Capital home. My name is Jacob Timm, and as the Director of Retirement Planning here, I focus a lot of time and attention on just that, retirement planning, really thinking through someone's goals, wishes, how their plan connects with the portfolio. But I didn't start off in this business. I wasn't the classic 18-year-old that had a plan. I grew up on a wheat farm in eastern Washington. My parents always taught me to work hard. I knew I needed to go get an education, but I didn't really know where my life path would take me. So it was actually a singular situation that led me to not only the wealth management industry, but to 10 Capital. And that backs up well over a decade. I was in my 20s. I was working for one of the large banks as a performance consultant, and I just happened to work for one of the banks that didn't get caught up in a lot of the subprime lending and what led to the global financial crisis. So that leads me to my story of what led me to 10 Capital into this industry. I was covering the West Coast, and I happened to be in Southern California, basically onboarding employees from another bank that had been shut down after they'd just really done a lot of things that weren't okay. I'll never forget, I was doing this training session with roughly 60 or 70 new employees to the bank that I was working for. And there was this woman in the audience who looked like she was in her early 60s. And throughout the course of this, day-long training session, I just felt like she really wasn't engaged. She was looking off a lot, wasn't really responding to questions. So being that it was going to be a 3-day training session, I grabbed her after the first day and we sat down and I just asked her, I said, "What's wrong? Why do you not seem to be engaged?" And she said, "Look, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm 6 months from retirement, and over the last few years, our stock price as a company had been doing really well. And our CEO kept touting, buy the stock, buy the stock." And I heard a lot of my friends at the branch that I was working at talking about buying the stock and how well it was doing. So what she went on to tell me is that basically she took her, fairly substantial 401k, which made up a bulk of her retirement assets, and she put them all into the company stock. Well, over the course of a few weeks, as that bank got shut down, that stock went to virtually nothing, and therefore she lost well over 90% of the assets that she was going to be using for retirement. And she went on to explain that she was just completely overwhelmed, had no idea what her future was going to look like, and didn't know how this had happened to her. And it was in that moment that I just could not understand why there wasn't someone there to help make sure that she was okay. And I knew that that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that I could take care of clients and help them understand, what retirement looked like, why we should help identify risks and blind spots within their plan, so that hopefully anyone that I would ever work with down the road never experienced something like what this woman went through. So to be honest, within 3 months of that conversation, I jumped ship and I went into the investment industry. I'd already been doing a little of it previously with this bank, but I went headlong and went and worked for one of the big wirehouses. When I talk about wirehouse, by the way, I just mean one of the big kind of national investment organizations. And again, loved what I was doing with that firm. But with that firm, I really realized that there were a lot of factors that kept me from doing exactly what I wanted for my clients. I needed more independence. I wanted to know exactly what was going into each client's portfolio. I wanted to be able to tailor the process of my planning to each specific client. And that's what led me to seek out an independent firm. Now, to tie this back into me growing up on the wheat farm, I just happened to meet Timm and our third business partner, who has since retired, Kurt Orton, right about the time that they were breaking off of the current firm they were at to join 10 Capital. And as I talked with them about the independence we would have to really structure a process for clients and the way that we could take care of clients in a way that we thought was best, not what some corporate office told us to do back in New York, I knew that this was going to be the home for me. Fast forward 7.5 years, and I feel like I'm living my dream job. Every single day, I get to sit down with clients and walk through why their investments match up with the plan we've put in place, how we're going to identify blind spots that may pop up along the way, how we're going to be protected regardless of what the market cycle is, and execute on that strategy we put in place. That's me in a nutshell. That's what led me to Timm Capital. That's why I do what I do. I think it is the best possible environment for me to use my skill set of thinking long-term for clients and taking complex situations and making them easily digestible so that we can execute on that plan. Thanks for tuning in this week. As I said, great week to look at kind of our underlying market commentary as, we got some thoughts on why we're seeing some of this volatility in the marketplace. And if you don't currently have access to that, go to our website, timmcapital.com, and sign up. Thanks, everyone.